Learning covers is great. I love the idea of learning covers, but learning covers for the sake of playing another person's song note for note without realizing that you're doing that for a reason. You're doing it more to understand why they're playing what they're playing than to actually play what they're playing. I don't understand the point of covering a song like in a live setting and making it sound exactly like the original artist. At one point, I did. At one point, I thought that's the right way to do it, and everything else is sort of a cop out. But these days, I don't believe that at all. These days, I believe that if you do cover a song, your purpose of learning it note for note and exactly like the way someone else does it is to understand why, understand what kind of harmonies they're hitting. That's why those Rick Beato videos where he analyzes, how the guitar works with the vocal, how the bass line works with the guitar. Some of that stuff is so valuable and helpful. And if you don't ever spend the time to do that, especially with your own music, I feel like that's the missing link here to writing a great song. And it's so much more non-linear than just sitting down and practicing the same scale over and over to get faster. And that's why people don't do it, I think, because one of them is mechanical. It's muscle memory mechanics. You will get better if you keep doing it. And that's why people do it. It's like lifting weights. If you keep upping the weight, you keep getting a little bit stronger. So I understand why people lean towards doing the thing that is easy for them to do to improve, to see improvements. But that doesn't change the fact that in life, the best and biggest improvements always come from the thing that's harder to do. And it's way harder to analyze why something is good and put in that study time essentially for that, and then learn it, and then try to incorporate those ideas into your own writing. That's what it takes to write a great song, in my opinion. But some people do this naturally. So that's where you get, the concept of, well, somebody who's never written more than 2 or 3 songs wrote this amazing hit. Yeah, because sometimes people are naturally gifted at things like knowing what could sound really good with something else, or maybe they're just fearless enough, like a lot of people aren't, to put down what they hear in their head and not shelter it. The best songwriting tip I can give you is, if you had to, say the things that you would leave as some sort of a stamp of who you are or your opinion, even if it's just your opinion that day, the way you feel about whatever, but the honest truth of it, not some sheltered, filtered version that you think people will be okay with, or some persona that you want to give to the world as who you are if it's fake. Who are you really? What are you really thinking? What's your real opinion? How do you really see this thing, whatever it is you're talking about? How do you really see your own feelings about it? How do you really feel? All that stuff, if you get down to the realness in it, it should make you actually feel something inside as you're writing it. It should make you feel something as you read it out loud. And it should be the kind of thing where you're scared that if people hear it or see it, they're going to look at you and think of you differently. It should be that way, because then you know it's big enough. It's real enough. It's an important enough point to make, because you're scared of the repercussions. As soon as you get to stuff like that, that's the real stuff, in my opinion. It's never the fluff. It's never the fluff. Even the simplest basic 4-chord songs, often there's something in there that's way, way deeper. Lyrically, something. The lyrics could be, super philosophical, deep lyrics, or just surface level things that elicit emotions, but it's more than meets the eye. It's not just 4 chords and a simple bubblegum pop hook. A lot of times, the ones you think are like that, when you delve into what's really being said, it's way deeper or crazier or out there than that. Semi-Charm Kind of Life is a very good example of this. Third Eye Blind, I never really knew what that song was about. I was hooked on the hook, because we don't need to know what a song is about. All we really need to know is that we feel something. And when you hear that song, you feel something, because the singer wrote a very real verse, like that. Everything in that song is so real and from a place of deep down honesty that it comes across. And the way the way he performs it, you feel his emotion. And that's why you could have 3 chords. You know, it's freaking 3 chords and it hooks you like never before. So what I'm saying is that's an interesting example of a song you think might be bubblegum pop until you realize what is actually being said. And then you realize why so many people liked it is because of the emotion conveyed and the emotion received. So you don't have to be playing, crazy fast stuff to make people feel something. More often than not, that stuff gets in the way of people feeling something, you know? A buddy of mine told me that Questlove, nobody gave like when Questlove started playing and he was trying to dazzle his friends and stuff, nobody cared about him playing. And then as soon as he went down to the basics, started playing the tightest grooves he could possibly play, all of a sudden he's in demand and people thought, wow, this guy's an amazing drummer. Because it's not about dazzling people. It doesn't matter to do all those chops are fine, when you want to show off, but they're not fine to convey emotion. They're not fine to keep the focus where it should be. Listen to Pusher Man by Curtis Mayfield. The drummer never goes to the ride. He never goes to the ride. The drums sound perfect. They don't get in the way of anything. They propel the groove forward. It's a serious that's a clinic right there in how to play drums to keep a song's focus in the right place. Because all of a sudden when the wah-wah comes in, the wah-wah is the star of the show, not the ride cymbal. And the wah-wah can be heard because there's not all this washy whoosh whoosh, overtones of every cymbal playing over it. It's like, in my opinion, such a good way to look at that and be like, these are a bunch of guys playing together, and I hear everything because everybody's out of each other's way. Everybody's playing the right part for the song. Just like a Ringo beat on any of the Beatles songs. It's the same thing. They're playing the right parts for the songs. And there's just look into this kind of thing, all right? Look into what can you play where you would think it sounds too empty now. And I bet you that's probably right in the sweet spot of where you should be playing. If you err on the side of too empty, maybe back it off a little bit and you're okay. If it's way too empty, but if it's just like, I wonder if it's too empty, I bet you it's on the money of what it should be. So less is more, absolutely, when it comes to propelling what is really there and putting the focus in the right place, unless you're one of these guys who wants to be the show-off type guy, and that's the focus. Well, I got news for you, man. Nobody cares about songs that have no song. Nobody cares about that fast stuff. It's cool for a second, once. It's cool to watch, somebody impressive once or twice. You're not going to keep going back to that crazy drum fill clinic and being like, this is amazing. Like, in my opinion, you're not. I'm not anyway. And my friends aren't. We're not going back to that. We're going back to the songs that make us feel something. That's what we're going to. So start doing it, and then you'll get better at doing it. The idea that you could never you can't learn how to get better at writing songs, that's not true. You can learn how to get better, but you have to come at it from a point of view of every time I'm going to get a little bit better, and it might be imperceptible, the amount of growth or change that I'm experiencing, but one day things will click if you keep at it. It's very much like mixing or becoming a better producer. It's not linear right in front of you. You see your progress and growth all the time. A lot of times you spend a lot of time doing things that then you realize was really helpful later. But at the time, you might not understand it's helping you. You might not see growth, and you might get very down on yourself. But keep writing songs. The more you write them, the more you'll realize what you could do slightly different. But while you're doing that, study the greats. You have to. Study the stuff you really like. The greats is different for everyone, but this is where having taste really matters. Try to get outside of your comfort zone. Try to listen to things you don't usually listen to. That's usually where you get the most ideas for what to write or how to write, is by listening to things you've never really liked before. See where your taste is now. Your taste changes over time. So as you develop your taste, whatever you hated 2 years ago, you might have an appreciation for now, or there might be something in the genre that you can find that you like, that you're attracted to now. Then explore other things from there. What were their influences? All you got to do today, too, is look up, you like this band. Okay, great. Now look up who were their influences and just see what you can find. and then go try to trace it back. That helps a lot too. 'Cause sometimes we don't know exactly why we like something, but if we trace it back far enough, it could become very apparent. So, hope you guys dug it. Leave a comment, questions, answers, anything. Love to hear it. I'd also like to know your opinion. What would you prefer? A drummer with amazing chops who doesn't know the song, or a drummer who knows the song like the back of his hand, wrote great parts, but the chops aren't there? You know, he's good enough to get it done. He plays on beat, but nothing extravagant at all. What do you prefer? All right, let me know. Hit it in the comments. Talk to you guys soon. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.